Thank you, John, very much. More and more Americans won't be able to retire at age 65. That's because they simply haven't saved enough money, according to the Transamerica Center for Retirement Studies. Our correspondent, Shahan Ramkissoon, joins us with more on this. Shahan.
Yeah, Debbie, the study encourages employers to prepare to keep their workers on their books for longer than usual. And experts say this means retirement should be redefined.
Where does the federal people want you to retire at? 70? That's crazy.
Linwood Bell is just one of the many people who thinks like this. What happens when you need to retire? Are you going to have money?
No, I'll just probably keep working me. I have that built in me to keep working till about maybe 80. And then maybe I'll just keel over and we call it a day.
He's part of a growing number of Americans who simply won't be able to retire anytime soon. In fact, a new survey of U.S. workers found that 82% of the respondents aged 60 and older either are or expect to keep working past the age of 65. The Transamerica Center for Retirement Studies also found very few people in their 40s were confident of comfortably retiring. So we walked around New York City to see if people are thinking ahead.
I started planning with my first real job that had a retirement plan associated with it and put a little bit of money away each month. And over time, that has accumulated.
I never really had retirement like in my agenda, like I just believe in just working. But now that you asked me the question, I mean, it's something to put into my consideration.
Not at all, actually. I'm 20, so I don't really think about that far ahead into the future.
But saving later is not a good idea, according to Daniel Weber, who retired 30 years ago.
Save money or invest. I invested in municipal bonds, and they still pay good interest.
So people either plan ahead or not. But the key question is, how do you adequately plan for retirement? Well, financial advisors reckon it's fairly simple.
The most important thing is, one, to figure out how much does it cost to be you. From that, you then have an idea of what you need to budget for yourself for a year. So planning and budgeting is the first thing, looking at going into retirement. Because if you don't plan for it, you will not have enough money to retire on.
The days of gold watch retirement might be a thing of the past, but our expert has this friendly warning for you.
No one's coming to save you. You have to save yourself. There isn't any magic pill.
Yeah, certainly no magic pill there. And the financial advisor also says that you should not rely on winning the lottery to retire comfortably.
Damn it! That was my plan. It's not so much, huh?
Not so much.
All right, so what else did this Rosie report have to say?
Oh, you know what? The main target here is that 40-somethings are the problem people. And that was because they were affected by the recession. And that's why the study says that they weren't able to save money because of the recession. They have kids, they have homes to worry about. And this is the group that should be worried. Experts are saying, though, at 40, if you start saving for about 30 years or so, you might be able to retire comfortably. So don't give up hope just yet. You know, don't say I'm going to go another year.
Why are you looking at me like I know about 40? Yeah, I do know if I'm 40.
I'm not.
Oh, honey, I passed 40 a long time ago. You talk to a lot of people on that was the right thing to say. You talk to a lot of people on the street. What are their general attitudes towards saving for retirement?
You know, it really does vary. You see a group of people sitting down, young people who say, oh, I'm too young to even think about it. I'm only 20, I'm working, I don't really need to save, but I'll think about it in a couple years from now. And then you see the older people who, many of them said their parents encouraged them to actually start saving for retirement and to invest. And that's how they would make money, you know, later on in life. So it really does vary where you are and who you speak to. You go to the stores, you know, down the road, even on Fifth Avenue, and people are saying totally different things to what you're hearing in Bryant Park, for instance.
No, I'm sure. So then Transamerica Center for Retirement Studies in their study talked about young people. I'm imagining particularly people in their 20s.
Yeah.
Are young people saving? Because that's really when you should start.
This is a different study that was conducted impacted by Transamerica. And it's interesting because it's a contradiction to what the initial study showed, that older people weren't saving. This shows that, 20-somethings saved an average of $16,000 a year. And that means they're putting at least 10% of their salary in their accounts every month. And that's a good thing. Now, they say if they carry on this way, they will be able to manage to get into good retirement. They'll have enough money because they're starting early, and it's encouraging to see this happening now. It does mean that maybe later on in life, we can say retirement at 65.
I'm just going to throw this in as a ringer. We have to sort of look at what the new face of retirement is, because, 65 is not what 65 was when I was growing up. When I was growing up, 65 was end of life.
Yeah.
People live another 20 years, so might not be necessary to retire because we're healthier now.
That was one of the things that the financial advisor I spoke to actually brought up. She said that you need to look at how people are living. People are living much longer, they're much healthier at 65, even until 70. Some people are fitter than me, fitter than you possibly.
Absolutely.
And you see these incredible stories about people who retire and then go ice skating. And I heard the story yesterday from one of our producers. Go ice skating, fit as a fiddle, this man can work. And that proves the point that people are living longer. And that means they can work longer.
Yeah, I'll never forget the time that an 80-year-old passed me in a marathon that I was running. Like created wind as he passed me.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, wow, I got a lot of work to do.
You felt good about yourself.
Yeah, indeed. Let me ask you another thing. With this financial advisor that you spoke to, what advice or tips did she have for people that have just waited until very late in their life and their career?
Yeah.
Is there any hope to save for some sort of retirement?
Yeah, that was one of the questions I did ask her, and she said no. She has to turn many people away, saying that she can't do much for them. If you come to her when you're 60 and you're trying to save in the next 5 years, there's absolutely nowhere you can make a lot of money to sustain yourself for the next 20 to 30 years of your life. You might be able to make a bit, but not enough for 30 years.
Let me ask you this quickly. Did you talk to this financial planner about Social Security? A lot of people are counting on their Social Security, but the question is, will it be there?
That was one of the findings in the survey, actually, who say that many people don't believe it'll be there.
Right.
And that's why those people who don't believe that's going to be there actually make that investment now. And that's the difference between whether you're saving or not. People who are afraid will save. People who aren't rely on it.
Yeah, you better save it. Save every penny.
Yep.
Shahan Ramkissoon, thank you so much.
Pleasure.
That was a great piece.
Thanks.